company generated $10 million last year. This one was $5 million per year, $3 million. This is another company. You can imagine whatever you want in these small rooms.
These empty offices are a front for paper companies that launder cartel drug money. From trap houses across America, through wholesalers, transporters, and cartel cells, there's a billion-dollar tide funneling into Mexico.
When it's moved, you're talking millions weekly.
Now, U.S. authorities are cracking down.
I see you got a big stack of cash in there. What's up with that?
But with this much money at stake, the cartels are finding ever more devious ways to clean
Les puede depositar esos dineros.
and smuggle
In one truck like this, they could be $1 million.
their dirty cash.
Hola, Chief. Buenas noches. Ok, ¿cuántos son? $20,000. Ok. Ahorita voy por ellos.
"9 p.m., Cancun, Mexico. JC is on his way to pick up dirty American drug money, the proceeds of hundreds of illicit drug deals back in the States. The U.S. generates over $100 billion of drug sales a year. The cartels face two problems: getting it back to Mexico and banking it.
No hay cárteles que pues tienen hasta 200, 300 millones de dólares parados en sus casas y no los pueden mover, no los pueden sacar.
That's where JC comes in. To spend their profits, the cartels must launder all this dirty cash, transforming the proceeds of crime into legitimate profit. JC is part of an army of workers whose job it is to get cartel cash into the banking system without revealing its origins. Now that he's in, there's no turning back.
Sí, una vez que entras y que estás trabajando para ellos o mover los dólares con ellos y cambiarlos, significa no poderte salir. Te buscan, secuestran hasta tu familia y te dicen, tienes que hacerlo. Y si no, te matan.
So he's on call 24/7 to do the cartel's bidding.
Aquí son $20,000. Lo que hago es busco 5 IFEs y voy a ir al banco a cambiarlos.
The ID cards were secretly photocopied during legitimate transactions. JC uses them to make multiple currency exchanges, all bogus.
Tenemos que dar siempre $200 a la cajera. Los ponemos aquí. Ella, a su vez, en el sistema, reporta esas operaciones como si el turismo haya ido a cambiarlo.
JC then picks up the newly swapped pesos and passes them on to his cartel boss. Mission accomplished. The cash is now laundered, its origin erased.
Les puede depositar esos dineros, pero ya limpio, o sea, en pesos mexicanos.
But this cash began its journey 3,000 miles away in Chicago. One of the biggest narco distribution hubs in America. The Windy City's railroad, port, and interstate highway system make it the ideal location for distributing dope and collecting cash from across the Midwest. And the South Side is where a lot of the business gets done. Every deal's a drop in the bucket that contributes to a mighty river of cash flowing out of the city. Handling the retail, an army of local gangbangers.
Roll with food. $30. Right here. And I put that in your mouth too. You get bumped with that. You don't even get that lead, like.
Another bag of crack sold. Every day, thousands of deals like this make fortunes for the Mexican cartels.
I'm 19, I've been doing this since I was 15, man. You gotta feed yourself, cause ain't nobody else gonna be able to do it. We grew up with our mothers and fathers around here, so you feel me? You gotta be your own father figure. Get your own money out here, cause ain't nobody gonna give it to you.
Skillet operates at the bottom of the money supply chain. He and thousands like him generate dirty cash, unusable in any quantity until it gets laundered. Skillet gets crack on credit and sells it for $10 a rock. After a long day of moving product, back at the trap house, the real work begins. Splitting the take. First up, the crew take their cut.
Between the three of us, we're gonna split a $400 profit off the ounce, you know.
It works out around 13 bucks an hour. But they count on volume to make ends meet.
Nothing too much, but it's about the quick flip. We ain't even really thinking about making too much money. We were about getting it in and getting it off so we could stay with it, you feel me?
The rest of the cash goes up the chain to the crew's drug supplier, a regional distributor who works with the cartel. The payment's gotta be right, and it's gotta be fast.
We gotta go back to the store with $1,200, man. If you take that credit from him, man, you gotta pay him. If not, he gonna come see you. You gonna be dead. 6 feet under, man.
Gonna be smoked, man. Smoking for that count, man.
Yeah, where we from, you gotta keep it with you or somebody will run your trap or something, you feel me?
But there's another problem. Moving cash in the hood is riskier than holding drugs. And Skillet's anxious. He's got 12 hours until his wholesaler opens shop, and that means holding on to the cash.
Everybody out here thirsty, robberies. You gotta keep your eyes up for the haters, man. They trying to take you down because they ain't eating, you feel me? It's all out war everywhere, man. That's why we call it Chirac, because it's so you'll never know where it's coming from, man. Your homie will cross you for a couple bucks, man. That's how it is. You gotta keep your pistol while you trapping. And if not, you gonna get gagged.
Skillet's homeboy, Breeze, is always ready with a gun. He's had plenty of practice.
I use this all the time. I had to swap something out, you know, be getting hot. You can't keep the house for long. That's my baby, though. I made honest say I'm loving it. Say I'm loving it.
All we need is that money, man. That's all we care about.
The greater Chicago area has thousands of trap houses holding millions of dollars destined to go south. If local police could choke off the money supply here, they'll do major damage to the local dealers and their Mexican suppliers. 50 minutes away in Lake County, local sheriffs are planning to do just that.
We made 2 patrol purchases, $100 worth of crack cocaine.
They're preparing to raid a trap house and seize cash.
They always want to protect their money, no matter what. All right, let's load up. We've gotten a lot of tips where stash houses are at. It's worth it because that's where you hurt people. A lot of these guys are accustomed to being in jail. You know, it's not a big threat to them. You take their money from them, you take what they've worked for, that's where it hurts them.
So today, they hope to seize the dealer's cash before he passes it up the supply chain.
We're on our way to Gary, Indiana to do a search warrant. Put the bad guys in jail. Right in front of this car. Watch that window over there.
The sheriffs block all escape routes. They know the suspect's armed and has a history of resisting arrest.
Sheriff's Department! Hey, police, search warrant!
But the battering ram can't get them in. They're losing crucial time. Finally.
Sheriff's Department, search warrant!
Got 1 in custody. 2.
They get their man plus a female accomplice.
We're clear!
But they haven't found what would really damage the local supply chain.
Money would be nice, but just didn't have that luck today.
Back in Chicago, one flush dealer turns to cleaning his newfound cash.
Sloan, do not touch the drugs, baby. This is what I touch on a daily basis.
Cocaine wholesaler Peace Long splits his drug revenue, sending dirty money south to his suppliers while laundering his personal profits. Tonight, he's preparing to clean $150,000 at a Chicago club.
Getting ready for this little joint tonight. Setting it up about 100, 150. Big money, baby, all day. That's all we do. Gonna flip this real quick. Get rich, baby, all day.
But getting the money there is no guarantee.
We gotta wrap this seal. You know what I'm saying? Wrap this seal, because one time riding got pulled over. They brought the dogs. Dogs sniffed me out, took 17 from me. So now I gotta wrap it up, Vaseline it down, and keep it concealed.
So he takes no chances.
All right, now, on my way down here to go pick up this little cheddar from one of the venues. Strap up, safety first.
As a Chicago kingpin, Peace Long makes millions supplying cocaine to the city's street gangs. But he can't spend his ill-gotten gains without drawing unwanted attention.
The most we ever did was like 1.5. That's 1.5 mil, people. And that was not too long ago, to be honest with you.
He must claim a credible source of income to get his money into a bank, or else his crack den dough will be useless.
I gotta mingle with the rich people, keep my nose clean, dress sharp, and leave all the other stuff in my neighborhood.
So he fronts events at clubs to make it look like he's a legitimate entrepreneur.
That's where the most money come in. Say we do 2, 3 events a week, usually more. Smallest one might bring you in 10. The biggest one might bring you in, like you said, 150, 200.
Peace Long cooks the books, inflating his sales with dirty drug cash.
Now what I'm collecting on is the door, the drinks, the tickets. I'm gonna pay for everything full up front with my dirty money, and I clean it within an hour or two, like I said.
By inflating ticket, food, and drink sales, Peace Long has masked the money's true origin. Ultimately, he receives a check that he can deposit in a bank.
All right, what's up? Just left from one of the huge events. You know what I'm saying? Just made 150 off that. Checked up, baby, 150 off that. That dirty coke money to clean game money. Because it's all about the game, baby. Nobody plays it better.
Peace Long's cleaned his personal profits, but he's got a problem. He still must pay his traffickers, but he can't wire this much money, as it would draw unwanted attention.
Feds gonna get you. They know you owe too much money. Don't think they don't. They know.
Tough banking regulations and federal investigators means he must be careful with the traffickers' money. Fortunately for wholesalers like Peace Long, there's another cog in the laundering machine to help. An army of transporters ready to move his cash debts across the border. Special agents for ICE Homeland Security investigations work to stop the flow of dirty cash south.
As you can see, here's a vehicle that we seized from a criminal organization that was moving money to the southwest border and into Mexico.
But this is no ordinary SUV.
Start the vehicle, activate the rear defrost. Then there's a magnet which completes the circuit, raising the entire back of the vehicle, revealing the hidden compartment.
Ingenious retrofits like this keep HSI agents on their toes.
There's enough room in this trap to probably conceal just about $1 million.
Outside Chicago, HSI is on the hunt for dirty money.
The group that I'm currently in is a financial investigations group. That group primarily focuses on the illegal and illicit narcotics proceeds that are being transferred back to Mexico and Colombia.
Special Agent Popovitz is heading to a strip mall where cartel operatives have previously conducted cash handovers.
In the last 10 years, on average, our team seizes about $10 million a year in bulk cash.
Bags of dirty cash often change hands in plain sight.
This is the typical big box store parking lot. Cartels want to remain anonymous, blend in with the general population. We've actually done multiple deals in here, meaning that we've observed members of cartels dropping bags to other members.
Yeah, copy that, Neil. I'm about 3 rows away from this guy.
It's very simple. You'll see 2 cars pull up side by side, and typically what happens is trunk opens up and a duffel bag goes from one to the other.
Male Hispanic, he's got a white t-shirt. Open the back, go to the vehicle, we just dropped the bag to the UC.
In a perfect world, we're able to identify who that person is dropping the money off to, and then eventually, hopefully, hit the larger load and really disrupt the organization.
Male black, put right back to UC's trunk. He's getting back into his black Dodge 4x4.
Everyone thinks that it's just in the bad parts of town, but the reality of it is it's in every part of town, and it's in every parking lot.
10-4, he's away.
It's estimated anywhere from $20 to $40 billion moving around this country per year. So to move $20 to $40 billion a year, $100,000 at a time, you just can't do it. So they have to take those risks, and they have to push that kind of money through these vehicles.
Trying to run the law enforcement gauntlet are thousands of cartel money transporters.
Man, one thing you gotta realize that it is 1,000 compartments on a truck. These tires right here, man, can be filled with 10 to 15 apiece. From this part right here to this part right here, man, you got an extra compartment you can build. Easily, it's walls right here. People build all day long, man.
Today, Spins is making final checks on his truck before transporting dirty drug cash to the cartel in Houston. He can stash millions of dollars in a truck like this.
I do like, you know, 1 trip every 2-3 months, you know, plain and simple. Trip is normally 2 days, 22 hours on the road from Chicago to Houston.
With the direct southern routes out of Chicago heavily patrolled, Spins switches highways. He's using I-65 southbound in Lake County, Indiana. But sheriffs are on the lookout.
We've seen major shipments of money coming through here that were destined for Mexico.
Sergeant Stewart has patrolled Indiana's highways for over 10 years. He's no stranger to intercepting dirty money.
Typically in a year, the 3 of us sees, anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million in cash. You're being detained right now on suspicion of trafficking illegal currency.
But picking the right vehicle requires an experienced eye.
As you can see, there's hundreds of cars that go by every minute, and we have to somehow sort through that ton of traffic. Typically, I see them long before they see me, because I'm sitting still just watching traffic. If they're a criminal that's committing a serious crime or something that's serious in their mind, and they suddenly notice me when I've seen them all along, they're going to have that fear reaction. They're going to have that adrenaline dump. They're going to stop thinking clearly, and they're going to do something that disrupts the flow of traffic.
Yeah, I felt like I've been trailed, while I was driving with my load down the highway. I felt like, people watching me, just get paranoid sometimes.
But if Spins gets pulled over with cartel money in his possession, he won't be worrying about going to jail.
What I think about cartels is like, those some badass man, you just don't want to mess with it.
It's go time.
I'm going to take a look at this car up here. When it was approaching me, it was tailgating a semi.
Sergeant Stewart of the Lake County Sheriff's is following a suspicious vehicle along I-65 in Indiana.
See what's going on with this car.
He approaches cautiously. Some traffickers are prepared to use maximum force to defend their loads.
Do you know all your brake lights are out back here? Your license plate is hanging off the back? Is your license valid? It's not valid. All right, we'll come back here. Let's check out your license. Just jump in the front over there.
With the driver in the car, the sheriff senses something.
You get charged with weed before?
Oh.
Yeah, the reason why I mentioned that to you is because you smell like weed a little bit right now.
Oh, no.
Are you smoking today?
No, I was around somebody that was smoking today. I don't want to lie to you.
Is there any more weed in that car right now?
No, I promise you, my baby ain't no weed in there.
Sergeant Stewart turns up the heat on the passenger.
Jump out. Hey, I was talking to your partner. He said some guys were smoking weed with you earlier because he smelled like weed.
There's no weed in the car.
No, I said he smelled like weed.
Okay, that's him. Stick your head in the car and see if you can smell it.
Is there weed in the car?
No, there's no weed in the car.
Okay.
With little evidence of illegal activity, the sergeant doesn't have many options.
Your license is valid. Do you think you can finish driving all the way to You don't have no problem with that?
No, sir.
Figuring he has bigger fish to fry, he decides to cut them loose.
They seem like they were legit. I didn't notice anything in the car or any odor in the car itself. I don't think there was anything really more that I needed to do with that.
But the following morning, Sergeant Stewart is in for a surprise. He spots something that looks familiar. It's the same vehicle, with the broken brake light and the passenger that Sergeant Stewart pulled over yesterday.
What's going on?
He said he wanted to search the car. I told him no, all I said, no right to search the car. He didn't smell any weed, nothing like that.
But there's something wrong with the driver. The K-9 unit take a closer sniff.
Did your dog hit on the car? Yeah. Okay, you can search it if you think you need to.
The deputies now have probable cause. If the driver's trafficking weed, he's looking at prison time. Then Sergeant Stewart spots something in the man's pocket.
I see you got a big stack of cash in there. What's up with that? How much you got there?
My girlfriend's money.
It's your girlfriend's?
Yeah.
How much is it?
Like $5,500.
A large amount of cash like this makes Stewart suspicious. The man could be moving both drugs and money.
How come you got your girlfriend's tax money in your pocket? She know you got it?
Yeah.
She trust you with it?
Yeah.
It's a good girlfriend. You ain't got to work?
No, I don't have a job, sir.
Oh, you don't? You must got a sugar mama. Good? Okay.
With no drugs present, they've got to let him go again.
Well, like I told you, man, make sure you get them brake lights fixed. That's just asking to get pulled over.
Cops can seize any amount over $10,000 if they suspect it's dirty. Unfortunately for Sergeant Stewart, carrying $5,500 isn't a felony.
Well, a lot of these lower-level guys are moving back and forth between these cities, which are only a couple hours apart, with, you know, $10,000, $6,000, even $20,000. Probably they're going to be safe with that amount of money.
The cops only seize a small part of the income from America's $100 billion drug trade.
I've heard estimates that it's only 1% of what is going up and down the highways or being transported back to drug cartels in Mexico. We're barely making a dent.
"300 miles south, money transporter spins has made it a third of the way to Houston without drawing any unwanted attention. Like transporters across the nation, he's carrying drug money for laundering by the cartel, who will then package the cash in preparation for its journey across the border.
I guess you could say I'm the hood bank. I make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. I'm basically the accountant for my organization.
Capo directs the movement of dirty cash throughout the United States and into Houston.
whoever's holding that crown for being the most responsible with the money, making sure everything gets back in one piece. And that's how it ended up being my situation of branching out to Atlanta and Miami's and New York's and New Jersey and Chicago.
He's waiting for spins and a dozen other cash transporters to deliver before he sends the money down to Mexico.
A tough week at the border where it's hard to get stuff across, maybe 100,000, 200,000. When it's smooth, you're talking millions weekly.
Capo smuggles money across the border to Nuevo Laredo. But right now, there's a problem.
All this war that's going all over Mexico is over this state line. This is all Sinaloa territory. This is our Golfo. Cartel de Golfo. Texas.
Capo works for the Gulf Cartel, which controls Nuevo Laredo. And the ongoing war with the Sinaloa cartel makes Capo's cash shipments vulnerable.
This is where it's going down. Everybody's fighting for this right there. This border, that's game time.
So Capo keeps bodyguards.
Nobody wants to die alone. That's why I keep my family with me. You're always gonna see me with a soldier by my side. Somebody that's ready to die for me like I'll do for them.
He claims to have police on his payroll.
There's a lot of dirty cops out there. A lot of them work for it. It's sad to say that, but yes.
Someone's shooting.
Gunfire is an everyday thing in the hood.
Capo's crew can't find the shooter.
Where we're at right now is call it ground zero. So area right here is rough, man. They call it Little Mexico.
The shot could be nothing, or it could be a warning from a rival cartel. But Capo only really worries about one thing.
That's my main thing, to worry about that money. That's all I care about. Some say I would have the easy job just collecting the money, but we got the hard part. We got what everybody wants.
It's Capo's job to get the cartel money across the border. Capo manages the cash coming into Houston via couriers.
We like to put it in hands of somebody that's, dedicated to the family part of our organization, because you never know when there's money involved, who will run away or who will, disappear on us. But at the end of the day, if you do get in trouble with something, you won't be here no more.
And when it comes to collecting this cash, he only trusts one man.
We're doing our regular routine, going around collecting bread, collecting our money. That way we can get ready to go back down south.
V-Star's job is to move dirty cash over the border. But first, he's working the streets of Houston, meeting with transporters who have traveled from all over the USA to pay off their cartel debts.
Just like that, make it happen. We can collect anything easy from 40,000 to 50,000, just one night.
But if the transporters don't show, they could find themselves in trouble. Dead trouble.
If they end up owing money, anything can happen, from me telling the people down there in Mexico to come down here and chop the head off, but collect this bread, fill the bag over. You don't want to come down to owing, people money.
The cartel says jump, you say how high.
How it's done. Now let's get the out of here.
As the payments pile up, V-Star gets nervous.
People out here roaching, who's trying to knock your hustle. There's a lot of them out here in the street. If you look, they're everywhere. All these bums, they don't got nothing to lose. Anything can happen at any time, so can't be scared. You gotta be prepared for anything. They're just lurking, waiting for somebody to gag.
After 3 hours, he's finished his rounds. He settles up with Capo.
Just in a few hours, we got about a good 30,000, 35,000. Do that about another 2 or 3 days. We'll be ready for next week. Go back down to Mexico. Every 2 weeks, it's how we like to move, because the product is moving, the streets calling for it. So you got to keep the money, rotating.
And that rotation never stops. Capo just got a call from his bosses in Mexico.
Yeah, it was one of those rush jobs that tomorrow this had to be done.
He's got to move a large quantity of cash within the city.
Whatever time it is, no matter if it's 3 in the morning, we call, the boys got to answer. They know the money's right.
So he's building a trap in his vehicle.
This is one of our little hideouts, so we kind of do a little bit of a little stash, but another process of moving the money. Everything that moves around is through this. These panels, we buy them. Basically weld whatever box you're gonna put you behind it. We hit it with a seal that'll make it smell-proof, fireproof, everything you can imagine. Once that plate's built, they'll weld it inside the frame of the truck. My guys right here have done it all, from gas tanks to false floors, airbags. I'm talking, like I said, full MacGyver type setup.
Yesterday's mystery gunshot has made Capo philosophical.
You know, you lose a lot of people in your family, you know what I'm saying? But your car's gonna be called any day, man. I don't worry about that no more. I ain't scared of that.
But moving this much cartel money, he can't afford to take chances.
My lookout guys all up and down the street right now, they give us a heads up.
At the first sign of trouble, Capo will get a call.
We get worried every day. But like you said, anybody can die at any moment. It don't matter what kind of work you do.
Yo.
It's a lookout. And he's got news. Capo, the money trafficker, is getting ready to move millions of cartel cash when his lookout calls. It's a false alarm, so the crew continues building secret compartments in their vehicle.
He's about to be done. He's like on the last weld. He's going straight to the truck. He's going to close it up and put everything we love in there.
Young Boss serves as Capo's chief trap builder.
Right there, in that little spot, we fit over 125,000 in that one spot. In one truck like this, they could be $1 million.
After 3 hours of work, the trap gets the finishing touches.
There is perfect. Perfect. They both fit good.
The money is now ready for delivery.
This is a small run that's here in town. Say even if it's down the street, we're gonna make sure that we cover our ass.
Oh, I'm excited. When we're done, it gets going on the road.
But the dirty money's still got to get packed for the journey south.
Now I'm just getting ready to do what I do.
V-Star's Houston office is a hub for smuggling cash into Mexico.
We got money coming from all over Texas, all over different states. There's money coming from everywhere. This last bag right here is from Chicago.
He's vacuum sealing Capo's money so the dogs don't sniff it out.
The last bag, you know, so now we're getting ready to go down south. Take down to Mexico.
Crossing the border is the riskiest part of the dirty money's journey. V-Star's strategy? Drive it in a fully serviced black SUV and play it cool.
You got your seatbelt on, you put your signals on. Anything you don't do is just gonna cause attention and it might get you pulled over. Once you get to the checkpoint, you know, you can't be nervous. You gotta make sure you're ready for the questions they might ask you, what you're doing down here, you know, how long you're gonna be down here. Because if you're not ready, you're gonna get pulled over to the side and you're gonna get stripped all the way down, you know. Down there at the border, they ain't gonna play with that. That's all fed, that's all federal right there.
It will take V-Star 5 hours to drive from Houston to Laredo. The city has 5 different bridges into Mexico. 2 for passenger vehicles, 1 for trains, and 2 for commercial vehicles. It's the busiest inland port in the United States, and a smuggler's paradise.
Llevas armas, municiones, partes de armas, dinero, $10,000 más para México.
Standing against the billion-dollar tide of narco dollars is the anti-terrorist and contraband enforcement team. These cops use high-tech scanners to seek out money stashed deep within vehicles. But the cartels keep responding with new tricks of their own.
The challenge working here is probably the scouts.
Officer Hernandez works bridge number 1 in the city center, where the cartels have lookouts.
This bridge, it's hard for us to target vehicles. As you can see, there's the pedestrian walkway. There's people walking all over the place. They see us here, and then people will find out, and then they won't cross. You'll see cars back over there that they'll turn around and head back. Once they see us here, it's not easy.
The cartels place scouts at strategic positions along the border. They use CB radios to give smugglers the coordinates of AT-set operations. With thousands of passengers and commercial vehicles passing through each day, officers must pick and choose who to stop.
Nada de armas, nada municiones, partes de armas, dinero $10,000. Before, it used to be very easy. You get this single mail coming from, up north, going deep into Mexico, and that was it. Nowadays, anybody's a smuggler nowadays. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to just target one group. It's just like families trying to smuggle money into Mexico. Older people, younger people, people that you don't expect. Those are the ones we kind of try to target.
A single male in a black SUV grabs his attention.
¿El BMW? Oye, ¿llevas armas, municiones? ¿Dinero en exceso de $10,000?
They pull it over for inspection. A high-end vehicle traveling deep into Mexico seems unusual. A preliminary search reveals no contraband.
We're gonna take this one to the Z-Portal, to the X-ray machine over at Bridge 2.
But Officer Hernandez wants to scan the vehicle to check for a trap hiding money.
It's a very clean vehicle, They'll utilize high-end vehicles. You don't expect it to check high-end vehicles.
But doing the unexpected sometimes gets results.
2008 BMW X5.
Officer Hernandez has flagged a suspicious car at the Mexican border he thinks is transporting dirty cash. And he's taking it to an X-ray to find out.
It's a single mailman coming from Houston. So he sells cars.
The driver's story doesn't add up. Unless he's under cartel protection, his fancy car could make him a target for robbery or kidnapping across the border. If there's cash hidden in a secret compartment, the X-ray should find it.
Yeah, right now it's looking good. I haven't found anything. The only anomaly we see is that big guy driving.
2-300 coming from the bus.
All right, thanks, Pete. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
They let the driver go. With around 26,000 vehicles passing into Mexico every day, catching money movers red-handed isn't easy. V-Star makes it across the border and heads to Cancun with his haul of dirty cash. One step closer to the money laundry. Over 4 million tourists visit the beach destination each year, unaware that they're helping launder dirty dollars on an industrial scale. But one man has decided to take a stand.
Cancún inició su vida turística con dinero del narcotráfico y los grandes cárteles del narcotráfico utilizan turismo para lavar sus dólares.
Pedro is investigating cartel money laundering in Cancun.
Se habla que hay más de 45,000 cuartos tan solo en Cancún.
Pedro believes 10% of these rooms remain empty. Their purpose, to clean cash.
Con 4,500 habitaciones, a $100 por habitación, por 12 meses del año, es una cantidad importante de dinero que se puede lavar aquí. Le sumas lo que consumen en los bares, lo que consumen en restaurantes, a los prestadores de servicios, todos ellos cobran en efectivo. Por eso es que aquí los grandes cárteles deciden lavar su dinero.
And this business model is spreading throughout Mexico.
Lo que nadie quiere aceptar es que la realidad que desde hace más de 15 años la economía mexicana depende del dinero del narcotráfico. Muchos de los negocios lícitos, muchas de las grandes obras son precisamente dinero del narco.
Today, Pedro is investigating one of the cartel's most lucrative laundering techniques.
La construcción es una de las formas favoritas de los grandes cárteles para lavar dinero.
But his investigation only gets so far.
Cuando acudimos a estos lugares, llega gente armada, te encañona y te amenaza con que te tienes que retirar. Y no tenemos la confianza de acudir a la policía para solicitar el apoyo o el respaldo, porque no sabemos quién está involucrado o quién. Uno solo tiene que mirar hacia otro lado, porque si no, está en riesgo tu vida y la de tu familia.
Pedro's taken a huge risk, but he presses on with his mission regardless.
Estas casas no tienen un propietario, se encuentran completamente abandonadas. Son casas que fueron construidas para lavar dinero.
Once the building work is finished, the cartel's construction company sells high to a cartel-owned front company. The result, money clean enough to bank. Following the paper trail only gets Pedro so far.
Hay una constructora que se llama... Esta constructora opera para el cártel del Golfo. Esta constructora solo existe en papel, no hay manera de ubicarla en algún local.
Behind this administrative facade lurks an army of corrupt accountants and lawyers who make sure Pedro can never trace the money directly to the cartels.
This company generated $10 million last year. This one was $5 million per year, $3 million. This is another company, you can imagine whatever you want in these small rooms.
Sylvia is one of Cancun's biggest money launderers. It's her job to close the circle and get the cartel's dirty billions into the legitimate Mexican banking system.
We create companies, but they are paper companies.
She does it by generating complex financial structures.
When the money gets back to our client, now it's clean and with papers, and we just get a small part of it, so everybody wins.
And their take-home is huge.
We can generate billions and billions. Maybe last year we had like 50 billion pesos.
She's just taken delivery of $10 million in cash that a client wants cleaned.
This money can come from drug smuggling or any kind of source that you can imagine, but we don't have to know and we don't want to know.
After a 3,000-mile journey across the border, the cartel's money is now laundered, but the cycle continues. From the drug dealers making the dirty money in the States, to the scouts and transporters moving it across the border, and the cartel cells cleaning it in Mexico. The billion-dollar tide continues to flow.